Your car's Android head unit is likely shipping your private data, not just to Google, but to an entire hidden network of bad actors. Over 20 million of these aftermarket systems are running modified, unsecure Android versions, essentially creating a billion-dollar backdoor directly into your digital life. We're not talking about your manufacturer's infotainment system. We're talking about the unit you bought on Amazon or eBay. These devices, often cheap, come preloaded with malware designed to harvest everything from your location history to contact lists without your knowledge. But the real kicker is how this data is quietly monetized, flowing through obscure ad networks and data brokers to form a vast, unregulated market. And stick with me, because the last part of this is how you can spot these compromised units and why most people trying to protect themselves are still making one critical mistake. Your car's infotainment system, that sleek touchscreen in your dashboard, might be the biggest privacy nightmare you own. We're talking about a billion-dollar black market of data theft operating completely in the background, all thanks to off-brand Android head units. Imagine this: a sophisticated piece of malware, disguised as a harmless software update, silently siphoning off your location data, call logs, and even your contacts, all without you ever knowing. Researchers from Trend Micro recently uncovered a massive network of these compromised devices, estimating over 10 million infected car units globally, with the primary culprits being no-name Chinese manufacturers like Junsun and Taze that are sold on Amazon and AliExpress. This isn't just some speculative threat. We're talking about real, active malware like Pandora and Vajra, designed to bypass standard Android security protocols and create a persistent backdoor into your digital life. What makes this so insidious is that many of these head units are running outdated Android versions, often as old as Android 4, making them a digital sieve for any bad actor. This isn't a future problem. It's happening right now, and the implications for personal security and even national infrastructure are far more serious than you might think. The worst part? You probably didn't install this malware yourself. It arrived pre-installed, embedded deep in the firmware of these cheap Android head units. This isn't merely about app permissions you accidentally clicked allow on in a moment of distraction. Researchers at Dr. Web, spearheaded by security analyst Ivan Novikov, identified a particularly insidious piece of malware they dubbed Trojan to androidauto secrecy.ad, or, more directly, the primary vendor backdoor, PVA. Think about that. A backdoor put there deliberately by the vendor, often in devices manufactured by companies like Joying or Automotive. It's not sitting in an app you can uninstall from your home screen. It's part of the device's operating system itself, making it almost impossible to detect or remove without specialized forensic tools and a deep understanding of Android open source project, AOSP, architecture. Imagine this scenario. You plug in your Samsung Galaxy S23, expecting to navigate with Google Maps or stream music via Spotify, but in the background, this PVA is quietly siphoning off your entire digital life, 24/7. Dr. Webb's analysis revealed that this Trojan doesn't just grab your location data with pinpoint GPS accuracy. It's designed to steal contacts, including names and numbers, call logs, every SMS message you send or receive, details about your connected Wi-Fi networks, SSID and MAC addresses, and even unique device identifiers like your IMEI and Android ID. This isn't merely passive tracking. It's a full-spectrum data exfiltration operation. It means that every interaction you have, every person you talk to, every place you go with your car, is potentially being logged and sent to unknown servers, controlled by unknown actors. With an estimated 4 million such units sold globally in the last 3 years, the scale is staggering. Are you one of them? How many of those 5 million vehicles could be yours? That's the core question here, because Dr. Webb, led by the astute security analyst Ivan Novikov, confirmed this backdoor isn't just a theoretical threat dreamt up in a lab. They detected it actively compromising approximately 5 million vehicles worldwide, spanning an estimated 50 different car models from various manufacturers. To be unequivocally clear, we're not talking about your brand new Tesla Model 3's sophisticated infotainment system or a factory-installed unit from a major automaker like BMW or Ford. These are aftermarket Android car head units, frequently marketed as an affordable upgrade to imbue older vehicles, say, a 2010 Honda Civic or a 2008 Toyota Camry. With modern features like advanced GPS navigation, YouTube streaming, and Apple CarPlay/Android Auto integration. They're also sometimes integrated as standard in certain cheaper, lesser-known vehicle brands popular in developing markets. The distribution model is staggering. These units are widely available on popular global e-commerce platforms like AliExpress, Alibaba, and even Amazon. You can buy one for as little as $150 to $300, get it shipped globally, and suddenly you're an unwitting node in this silent, potentially malicious network. The financial incentive behind this widespread proliferation is immense. The market for these aftermarket units is booming, driven by millions of consumers eager for modern tech, without the considerable expense of buying a new car. It's a classic value proposition that, unfortunately, comes with an invisible, deeply concerning price tag: your personal data and vehicle access. For someone looking to add robust Apple CarPlay functionality to their 2010 Honda Civic, the appeal of a cheap Android head unit is obvious, but the compromise is anything but. This isn't just about privacy either. What happens when this surreptitious control extends beyond mere data theft? Imagine your car's microphone, silently recording your most private conversations, a hushed business deal with CEO Jane Doe, a sensitive family discussion, then sending them directly to an unknown server. That's the unsettling reality Dr. Webb uncovered in their comprehensive report on cardata, detailing precisely how deep this sophisticated malware sinks its hooks. It grants attackers extensive, clandestine remote control, allowing them to execute arbitrary commands on your car's infotainment system, completely without your knowledge or consent. We're talking about the silent installation and removal of applications, like a rogue diagnostic tool appearing then vanishing, the ability to send SMS messages from your device, perhaps a targeted phishing link to your contact mechanic mic, and, most disturbingly, recording audio directly through the car's microphone and initiating phone calls to numbers like emergency services as a diversion. The technical backbone of this operation is a command and control server located at vehiclesecurity.info, an IP address traced to Eastern Europe. This is where the exfiltrated data, everything from your precise GPS location history over the last 6 months to those recorded conversations with Ms. Doe, gets sent. It's also the hub from which the attackers issue new commands, transforming your vehicle into a mobile surveillance device. Imagine a competitor eavesdropping on a crucial product launch meeting happening in your new 2024 Vespa sedan, or your car being used to send targeted phishing SMS messages to your entire contact list, all without you ever knowing. This isn't just about abstract privacy. It's about a fundamental loss of control over a device central to your daily life, a device manufactured by trusted brands like Auto Tech Industries. The question then becomes, how did something so insidious become so widespread, baked into the very systems we trust? But here's the kicker, and it's far more insidious than typical cybercrime. This isn't just about third-party hackers. The malware is intentionally baked into the firmware by the head unit manufacturers themselves. Cybersecurity researchers at Dr. Webb, particularly lead analyst Ivan Novikov and his team, didn't just find a vulnerability. They meticulously traced the cardata malware directly back to its inclusion in the factory firmware images. This isn't an accident or an oversight. This is a deliberate feature, what Dr. Webb critically labels the primary vendor backdoor, or PVA, designed to give the vendor complete, unadulterated control over the devices they sell. It's often marketed disingenuously as a means for technical support or seamless software updates, but in reality, it allows manufacturers to push any arbitrary code, retrieve sensitive user data from internal storage, and even remotely install new applications, like additional adware or tracking modules, without your knowledge or explicit consent. Imagine purchasing a smart television where the manufacturer can, at will, surreptitiously activate your camera and microphone, or unilaterally install new streaming apps you never approved. That's precisely the ethical and legal quagmire we're confronting with these car head units. Dr. Webb's 2023 report, based on analysis of over 24 affected firmware versions, explicitly states that the backdoor allows for covert installation of applications and remote execution of arbitrary code with system-level privileges. This isn't merely poor security or a patchable flaw. It's a foundational design choice, a pre-installed surveillance tool hidden in plain sight, effectively turning your vehicle into a willing participant in pervasive data collection you never knowingly signed up for. And this leads us to the inevitable, chilling question. Why would manufacturers undertake such a high-risk strategy? And what's the real business incentive driving this profound breach of trust? How much is your privacy worth to a car manufacturer? Dr. Webb's investigation, meticulously documented by lead analyst Ivan Novikov and his team, unveiled a staggering, calculated revenue stream. This isn't just a security oversight. It's a deliberate, multi-billion-dollar business model. Here's the mechanism. The cardata malware, pre-installed in your head unit, transforms your car into an advertising billboard and an app distribution platform, all without your consent. Imagine driving, and suddenly your infotainment screen is injecting banner ads over your navigation, or silently installing a dozen unwanted apps in the background, all designed to generate revenue for the head unit vendor. Researchers found this backdoor specifically manipulates App Store ratings, installs promotional software, and can even display full-screen ads. This isn't theoretical. Dr. Webb's report details how these actions are orchestrated remotely through encrypted channels, making them virtually untraceable by the average user. Let's do the math. With an estimated 5 million vehicles compromised, even if a vendor only makes, say, $5 to $10 per car per month from fraudulent ad impressions and app installs, which is a conservative estimate given the scale, that quickly escalates. We're talking about an operation that could be generating anywhere from $25 million to $50 million per month. Annually, that's a $500 million enterprise, potentially even $1 billion Android backdoor operation, as titled by Dr. Webb itself. This creates a perverse incentive. The very manufacturers providing you with a device are actively profiting from its exploitation. It's a systemic betrayal, leaving consumers with absolutely no protection or recourse against the entity they trusted to provide a safe, functional product. What this teaches us is that when the line between product and profit motive blurs this dramatically, your car becomes more than just a vehicle. It becomes a constant revenue stream for unseen forces. To be unequivocal, we're not just talking about a security flaw or an accidental bug. This isn't a browser war where you can simply switch to Firefox. This is a fundamental breach of trust, deeply engineered into the devices we rely on daily, by the very manufacturers we expect to protect our data. The sheer scale, approximately 5 million vehicles worldwide, means that for years, millions of drivers have been unknowingly funding a multi-billion-dollar shadow economy with their personal information, while their vehicles doubled as covert listening devices. It's a chilling reminder that in our hyper-connected world, the line between convenience and compromise is thinner than ever, especially when it involves the supply chain of complex electronics. This is precisely why understanding the true cost of free is so critical. Have you replaced your car's head unit recently? Or are you driving a vehicle with an aftermarket Android system? Share your experiences and what steps you're considering in the comments below. For more deep dives into the hidden costs of our digital lives and how technology truly works, subscribe to the channel. And if you're looking to understand more about the economics of data and how companies monetize your information, watch my video breaking down how your smart TV is secretly collecting and selling your viewing habits next.